We're going to have a few podcasts out for this, but we've been off for the holidays for a little bit, and you'll hear a couple come out before this one, but we are welcoming each other back from Christmas, basically.
Whoa! It's been a time. It's been a moment.
And I wouldn't want to disappoint our fan, correct?
Fan.
Do you think the fans stick around?
That's a tough question. Maybe.
Well, we do have a fan.
Yeah, a fan, and there's been a lot of good quality stuff out there for them to enjoy. So, I mean, why wouldn't they want to stick around like crazy glue?
Quality. That's when I think of funny book forensics and introductions to the podcast, I think quality.
It is 100% quality.
If you look up quality in the dictionary, it says funny book forensics intros.
In the Encyclopedia Britannica, you will find a photo of Dan and myself together, back to back, holding comic books with funny book forensics right underneath us and quality stamped on top.
And this was the best intro ever. And here I go with the see, look at that transition. Not only was it the best intro ever, but it was the finest transition ever of
smooth.
Very smooth. It was clean lines and smoothness. And that is the better transition to our book today. We actually got some, I like free comic books.
I do too. And it's not even free comic book day.
I know. Jeff Foss reached out to us.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And threw a book our direction, and we liked it. So we're going to review it.
I like that.
And let me tell you.
Is that what we're supposed to read this week? Oh my gosh.
Yes,
I'm just joking.
You're supposed to read comic books.
Oh goodness. Okay, good. Good, I did.
Yeah. It is we get these books, and see, there's that transition again, We get these books. I like books with L.E.G.I.O.N on them. Right?
Yeah.
Or W.I.L.D.
Oh my. Yes.
And we have today C.R.I.T.
Oh my gosh.
Which stands for
crit. No,
Yes, I hope so. And give me a C. Give me an R. Give me an I. Give me a T. What does that spell, Greg?
Crit.
See, you did it right that time. I had to prompt you.
Yes.
It wasn't a question. It was more of a statement.
Yes.
Is that what you're going for?
Yes.
And we've just lost our last fan.
No.
Officially.
Come back.
After this 3 minutes and 27 seconds of greatness, we just lost our last fan.
No. You must stick around because we're getting to the good stuff right now.
Well, I have some love for this cover.
Yeah.
Because down in the corner, we'll describe the rest of the cover in a minute, but down in the corner, it has a ode to the Comics Code Authority with a little digitized stamp, and it says distributed by Savage Sandbox with is that a howling cat or a howling wolf down there?
I think it's a wolf, but at first I thought it was a badger or maybe a wolverine. It's an animal of some sort with a lot of fur on it,
howling,
and cool coloring, but it's howling.
And we got a barcode too, which is even cool. Yeah. This is classic. I love it. I love the ode to every comic book we read as a kid. You got a barcode. Well, not everyone we had a barcode. Those didn't come till a little bit later, right?
That's true.
But we got the comics. Actually, the barcode sort of came when the Comics Code Authority disappeared. So we got a little bit of everything here.
It's a nice little mix.
But I like it. It was neat, nice touch. And we've got a comic from... what are we, Homebrewed?
It is, yes. It's
Homebrewed.
Homebrewed.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's Homebrewed Heroes. That's what I was looking for. Yeah,
Homebrewed.
But I just remember Homebrewed because we've had a few homebrews.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Dugas.
Yeah.
You're out there somewhere.
I just remember the time that the homebrews exploded in the closet and there was nothing but beer everywhere.
And it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
A little homebrew. I almost want to say where Chris Dugas teaches, but then I feel like we don't want to implicate his privacy. Yeah.
No. That would be bad.
The famous Chris Dugas, actually legitimately famous.
Legit.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes.
We just won't tell you why.
Yes. Bridge bender.
Well, yep. So we are on to issue 1 here of Crit.
Oh man, there's more to this cover that we need to talk about, man.
Well, I don't know who any of these people are yet.
That's true. I don't know anybody, but it's got so much cool stuff going on that I gotta find out what's going on. There's a lot.
I've got Tical, and Cyborg, and Deadpool. And Melter, and see what I did there?
Yeah. I see what you did. And what's the
Nick Fury?
Nick Fury.
Patch. Yeah. No, that's not who these people are.
No,
not at all. Not even close.
But they definitely. Well,
the Melter, maybe.
maybe. In
if
a different
the Melter
universe.
was not a raver and went to like elite high level coffee shops and was male,
yes,
and was not 16,
could be.
I guess that is kind of different.
Yeah, but we'll find out more later as we get into the comic itself.
Okay, well, let's find out who these fine 5 are on the cover.
All right.
So we do have guns on the cover, though.
Yeah, we do have guns on the cover.
We have guns and guns. So we got guns in the middle, real guns, and then we have guns.
Guns.
Like the guns I have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's where we're at. All right. Oh, and we just turned the page and we can find out who 4 of these folks are. So that's cool.
Yeah. The heroes. Yeah.
So, and interestingly enough, we get a previously on because that's issue 1. But, okay. Previously on Crit, the attack of Technetic left the members of Crit with abilities they don't fully understand. Their first mission didn't go as planned, but they regrouped, refocused, rebranded, and now they will be fighting crime head on to show the citizens of New Orleans that they aren't a group of super vigilantes. They are
heroes.
There we go. I think you should say that as Squatcho Man.
Hero. I just can't. Oh man, I just can't do it. Just like, I gotta think about it. I gotta get into the.
Okay. And CRIT stands for Covert Reconnaissance Infiltration Team.
Yes.
I kind of like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I've always liked this too. Like I had, I like the dot names. I love this throwback. I'm not lying.
You're good with it.
It gives me warm fuzzies inside.
Yeah.
So we have some characters on, which I think this is cool. I like the little bios up front, so I sort of know what's going on. So we've got Boulder, who's an expert in grappling and unarmed combat. His ethereal power is called Symbolism. Interesting. Which grants him increased strength, speed, and resistance to most damage.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if, like, Twitter, most people that tweet had the power of Symbolism, what would happen?
I don't know.
I don't think they know what it was.
I don't know.
So Specter.
Yes.
And so Boulder was the African-American gentleman on the cover with the red and yellow and blue outfit. Then we've got the Specter. Hopefully it's not the Specter, because if it was the Specter, this would be a very different comic.
Oh, very different.
I think DC would be a little after
Angry.
this.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. The Specter has the ability to channel ethereal flame and create powerful blasts. The Specter can be a major asset in battle if his arrogance doesn't get in the way.
Oh, drat.
It's just like this podcast. Like, I can be a major asset to the podcast if my arrogance just doesn't get in the way.
So true.
Yeah, it happens. We have a lot in common with these folks.
Yeah, we do.
Caliber, ex-federal agent trained in a vast number of martial arts, surveillance, and firearms. He has no superpower other than his unrelenting sarcasm.
Oh my God, it's me.
You're here too. Yeah.
Just joking.
And that would be the red suit with the guns. Reminds me of someone else in comics.
Yeah. Very similar.
Very, yeah.
I felt it when I was reading. Oh my gosh.
I'm okay with it though, because I think I've read a little bit further ahead than you so far, and I see the character evolving, so I'm totally cool with it.
Okay.
And Reach, a talented mechanical engineer, he is fascinated by fringe science, and his powers allow him to communicate, understand, and control most electronic devices that he can touch.
Uh-huh.
So besides Doug from New Mutants, Legion also had Computo later on, not the disastrous Computo, but Computo in the Archie Legion, who could also do the same thing. So there's been, and I know there's been more than this. I think there was one in Stormwatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could do this, but I've always been interested in this power, so I'm interested to see how they take it. Oh, and there's the character on the Black Lightning series too right now.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So there's a few out there. Yeah, that actually probably reached the most audience eyes actually. So kind of looking at different things. I've always really liked that power set. I'm interested to see how that rolls because it's a tough one to write.
Yeah,
because you just gonna have somebody talk with a computer for a few panels.
It's like
I mean, it's much better in dialogue live action, I think, because the person can talk to the computer and turn to the group and tell them what the computer said, right?
Yeah.
And it's not so awkward.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to get into something and they can communicate back. So, yeah, interesting. I like the power set, but it's always been a tough one to write.
True.
So let's find out what's going on.
All right.
Well, we've got this. This looks fun. It's like eBay for guns.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Makes sense.
Kind of cool. But then it's like eBay for guns, but it looks like a video game. I don't know. It sort of looks like... Anyway, well, we've got some red gloved hands buying some weapons. Some level 1. It's weird because, it is kind of like a game, isn't it? Like, why are they level 1?
Well, you got to level up to get the better guns.
You can upgrade to level 2.
Yeah.
And since it's crit, if you roll a d20, what level do you get?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I should have held that joke like way longer.
You should have, but you wanted to get it out sooner.
I'm super excited. Well, this is what happens. This is why I'm not a comedian, because I just get super excited with my cleverness, and then it's really not that clever.
So what happens?
I did go by D20 on our Zencaster today, though. So
yes, you did.
Clearly, I was thinking about this one forever, and I held it in for 13 minutes, and that's about it. Well, we've got Sebastian Shaw. There's a callback to a superhero comic we've heard of.
Oh, yeah.
But CEO of Technetic Labs. And he's made his own team of superheroes. He sort of reminds me of someone that I have a poster of, too.
Maybe. Yeah. Kind of, sort of.
Maybe was in charge of the Justice League for a while.
Yeah, for a tad.
Has some pretty nasty power set.
Yeah.
And
good guy, bad guy?
Of course, not the version that was in the Wonder Woman movie.
No.
I don't know what that was.
He pulled at the heartstrings a bit.
I don't know what that was.
We don't need to discuss that.
Yeah, I just don't know what that was. Well, anyway, he's asking Caliber if he wants to reschedule the meeting, because he looks like he has some issues, and he's doing the Mr. Burns like hands thing here, which is always... Yeah, I'm like, is this a villain? That's why I first started looking. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, we got villains already. And Caliber's just chilling out with his red suit on and yellow eyes. It's kind of like obviously the resemblance to Deadpool, but it's almost like a Deadpool Deathstroke sort of crossover costume.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
With maybe a little bit of Deadshot thrown in there, which just makes it even more humorous. So that's cool. I love it. It's fun.
All of the things.
Well, yeah, just take all of those same style characters and throw them together into one. I know they'll allude to this in the liner notes at the back of the issue, but it reminds me of a Create a character if you were just screwing around playing a role-playing game. Which I feel like that's maybe what the author was going for. Actually, the author said they were going for that, so we can probably make that assumption.
Yep, that's a good one then.
So I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, he was actually not buying weapons. He was playing a game. And so he was trying to buy level 8 turrets. That's even more fun. Okay. He's probably playing one of those stupid like castle games or something.
Yep.
They suck you in and then you start to pay for stuff. And it sucks. Yeah, I hate those things. They're like a time suck.
They are. I for a quick minute was playing stuff like that.
I played for a quick minute too, and then it just gets really boring. And like, I play for okay, you know how manic I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is something I'll do for like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
and then I'll figure out like I'm massively addicted, like setting my sleep schedule around when the things refresh and everything. Right? Yeah, I did that with one of those. Is it Clash of something? Clash of Clans? No, that's not right. Clash Royale. That, oh God, Yeah, it was awful. I've also done it with WWE Supercard before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I just
That's a
have to
pretty
delete
game.
these things off my phone. I was also have done it with Out of the Park Baseball too, but that's not a phone game.
The game that I played, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was, and it dates it because it was back when Windows phones were a thing. It was I know that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it was
my Windows phone or your Windows phone versus my, like, I never had one of these. What is it? The Fire phone. Yeah.
I don't know. I wrote a whole entire book on a Windows phone, so it doesn't really, I mean, I loved it, but I would play this game because it was location based. So wherever you were, you could attack bases and other stuff like that. And there was multiple people playing at the same time. And if you could team up with people at the same time and people were in the same place, it would, benefit, and you could rally people at certain times. And it was getting crazy to a point where I had a group of people that I never met, that I had this ongoing, this series of chats on my phone just dedicated to this game. And I would be waking up at weird hours to do these, raid type things for the, to take these bases over, or I'm going to be in this area for work. I've got 20 minutes between this and this, I'm on my lunch, let's do this.
Yes.
And it would just, be crazy. Or my wife and I would be out doing stuff, so Anna and I would be out doing stuff. And I was like, oh, hold on a second. I got a message. I got to check this. And we got to, go battle this thing really fast. And it would, she's just like, stop.
Yep.
And
I have a friend that does that with, well, I don't know if he's doing anymore, but a lot with Marvel Contest of Champions. And whenever he would stop a conversation to do a battle, I would just go tap, 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 tap. And that got annoying, apparently.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I remember there was even like an online comic for this game, and I was at a convention doing a panel, and one of the guys on the panel, he mentioned that he worked on the comic, and I was like, hold on, stop the panel. You did. And then I brought up my phone and I was like, hold on a second. And I started messaging people in the message board that I was, I met the guy, and it was dumb. I mean, it was exciting. I was fanboying,
It was dumb.
It was great. I'm not lying. I mean, it was a moment. And he and I are friends and stuff, but he laughed at me ridiculously afterwards, because he's like, did you literally stop the panel to message these people that you've never met? And I was like, but they're my friends. I talk to them every day.
Yep.
I miss them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the online world, though. I mean, that's what it becomes.
I honestly do. I have thought about going back and playing the game, but I know how much time it will take out of aspects of my day, and I can't do it. It's
hard to believe that they would create a game that's intentionally addictive that would drive you, we call it Facebook.
I would drive around. I would literally drive around town and look for these things that were places that we could take over. And I was like, all right, I'm in the location. And I'll bet you other people were in their cars,
Don't make
were
fun
walking
of
around.
Go.
Well, it wasn't Pokemon Go. That was the thing. It was pre-Pokemon Go. And I'm pretty sure that they used, I want to say it was they built stuff off of the same type of game mechanic, but it's not the same company. But it was crazy, because I'm pretty sure people were doing the same thing. I know with Pokemon Go, I got into that pretty wild for a minute too. And man, my neighborhood was hot.
I used to laugh at the people that would drive around to go to Pokemon Go where I was walking to get there, because the whole point of Pokemon Go was to get people to walk and meet each other.
Yeah,
and then people would drive to the place and stop, and then it's this is ridiculous. Well, we are lost here.
I know. I'm sorry. I took us way off track. I am so.
It's
bad.
Okay. We're just relating to Caliber, and
Caliber's playing the game. He's and
now he's being told to
bring it
not
back
shoot
in.
people. Yeah, Sebastian is don't kill people.
Don't kill
And
people.
he's just like, well, he was trying to shoot Boulder. I had to kill him.
That's what I had to do.
And he's like, as they get into the public, he just flips the page. We should probably not be killing people. We don't need viral videos of murder and mayhem, because then how can I be an evil overlord of a super team if, they're viral videos? I need to be loved, right? And then we've got Specter over here, and he's like talking about how Caliber was, scratching penises into cars. And he's like, yeah, the cars, I might add, that belong to the gangsters that might have killed us. So we got a lot of banter here. We're kind of getting introduced to the characters, which is fun.
Yeah.
We have some
get their personalities,
definite world building here. Yeah. And we've got a little bit, we find out a little bit about Specter just by his pose and his attitude too. He's sort of leaning back against the wall. It looks like Caliber likes to be the center of attention, so to speak, with his witty banter. And then we've got Boulder here and talking about how it didn't end well. And he's like, you dragged them into a car and repeatedly stabbed them in the neck. So clearly Caliber, not violent at all.
No, he's not violent.
And we got 3 of the folks from the cover here all on the same page. So we've got a nice little introduction to him. Mm-hmm. And then Sebastian kind of goes on a little dialogue. Yeah, I know what dialogue.
Diatribe?
Monologue.
Monologue.
Diatribe. There you go. Diatribe monologue thing, where people talk a lot and they don't let other people talk. And he basically is discussing their need to step up, play superheroes. C.R.I.T is going public. They've got approval from the police, and he's brought in a guide for them and introduces the new guide. And that guide is Commander Richter. Hey. Not to be confused with Richter.
A Riker?
Or right. Well, he could be confused with Riker.
Yeah, he looks
definitely
like
not Richter of the New Mutants / X-Force. Definitely not. No. Very different.
Different.
Yeah. So we're here. And then it says, now I was a little bit upset when I read this because it says, guys, here's where we stand. The intel that I received says that Legion is behind all of the bank robberies. And I was like, the Legion doesn't rob banks. But it's not Legion or the Legion. It's Legion, the Legion. It's a legion of gangs.
Yeah, a legion of gangs.
Yeah, as opposed to a legion of superheroes, which is the right and proper legion, of course.
Well, I mean, depending on where you stand.
Depending on wow.
No.
Do I need to sick Brian Michael Bendis on you?
Hey, I mean, send him.
I'm going to bring the Portland Creator Mafia down on your head if you don't retract that last statement.
It is not retracted.
Wow. All right. This is where I start reaching out on Twitter to the Portland Creator Mafia. Should I start with Fraction or Bendis?
Send them.
Or Ron Randall.
Oh, don't get Ron all.
Don't get Ron involved in this?
No.
I think Ron would choose the right proper legion as well.
I don't want Ron mad at me.
Yeah, see? Who else would draw your covers?
I know. Don't do that.
Ron's also like the nicest human ever.
I know. So don't do that.
I'll get Mike Grell down on you too.
Oh, don't do that either. You're trying to. Now you're getting all the nice guys mad at me. I mean, I can handle the other people. They're gruff.
Are you saying? Are you saying Matt Fraction isn't nice?
No, I'm saying like. I mean, they can. No, they're all nice. They're all. But I mean, like I can. I
don't know about. I genuinely don't know if Bendis is nice in person or not. Though I did hear him on a podcast. He was actually on the Legion of Substitute Podcasters 2 weeks ago, and he seemed like an extraordinarily nice human. I was almost ready to forgive him for everything he wrote in the Avengers.
And see, if you brought these people down on me and they got gruff, it would be I would find it humorous because they're all nice. That's why I bring it. That's why like the Portland creators, right? They're just super chill. So I don't think that they would be like, we need to talk.
Well, the important thing here is we've got a new mentor for the group, Richter. So we introduce. And wow, something is going on outside here.
Oh man, they're after the Legion.
Yeah, it was what a transition.
Oh man.
Well, they're after a guy named Sanguine. Is that
Sanguine?
How you say that?
I think so.
Right?
I was having my own difficulty.
Sanguine.
Yeah. He's at a coffee shop.
Sanguine. Okay, yeah. So they're going to a coffee shop. Moral of the story. So this might be, but they're in New Orleans, right? So it's not about Portland. But if it was, I think all the superheroes might show up at a coffee shop.
Yeah, totally be fitting. Or
completely
like
appropriate.
some shishi burger joint.
Oh, jeez, yeah. They walk past all the amazing Chinese food downtown and go to a shishi burger joint.
A $25 hamburger.
Ugh.
With $30 French fries.
Wagyu
burgers.
Yeah, Wagyu.
Yeah, that are like $30 hamburger, $35 hamburger, $40 hamburgers.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I
mean, we've eaten them before. They're delicious, but I mean,
they're a hamburger.
Give me a Dick's burger any day.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, we've turned the page before I get into discussing hamburgers. And we've got the Specter saying you guys act like we're professional superheroes. And then we've got the introduction to a fourth character here from our cover. And that was, I have to go back and look because we haven't seen Reach. So I'd already forgotten the name, but that's okay.
It's Reach.
Yeah, Reach is just kind of in the background at a computer. Says one thing, Boulder, we are vigilantes. Shaw paid off the city officials to ignore us so he can put our faces on T-shirts. Okay, so nice. Well, we've found out what his attitude is. Okay, so we've got a group, but they look like they're ready to go. We've got Caliber. He's going to clean up a mess. They're incapable of keeping these guys off the street, so he's ready to go guns blazing. Boulder, who is ex-military, wants a helicarrier to go in there, which I don't think that's probably going to happen, I'm guessing, for a group of 4 superheroes. And we got Specter, who was up until 3 a.m. Grinding the old World of Warcraft. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And he wants energy drinks and cheesy puffs because I've never said this to you before. I'm off keto this week.
Yeah. No, I've never heard that ever, as you've asked if you could steal a candy bar.
And pizza and whatever else.
Pizza, yeah, and drink a soda.
Well, I was definitely off keto by then.
Yeah.
Well, I was out of ketosis, so that's for sure.
You're like, I'm eating this hamburger with a bun.
Yeah. Well, this is fantastic because then they get into a van.
Yeah.
And the van license plate is Nat 20. See?
Yeah. See?
Exactly. They only held off the joke. There's no page numbers. Dang it.
I know. For a while.
They held off the joke for a quick minute, but not too long.
Not too long. Yeah.
So we're here, and we've got some nice van banter. And Caliber's complaining, even though they packed all of his weapons, that he didn't get the right flavor of soda.
Well, it's important.
He needs dark berry soda, and he wants blue. Yeah, I was thinking that he wasn't the one that would hang out in the coffee shops. I thought that was Specter. Well, anyway, we get some nice banter. We get a little bit more introduction to Boulder and to Caliber here.
Yeah.
And one line from Specter down at the bottom. I do like how when they're in costumes sometimes, you get red, yellow, and purple, so you can distinguish the characters. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
At least for now. I have some questions about it later, but for now. And then we get the Frap Shack. I thought... There's something weird here in this art at the top of the page.
What? That it's the off center?
Yeah. Like, is that what's bugging me? Okay.
I think so. It's an off center building. It's the building, but also the Frap Shack.
I'm shocked that something not in line and off center would bug me. Like that's so not me.
It's a choice.
This building would annoy me in real life, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
I've seen buildings like this in real life.
That's fair. Well, they head up to the coffee shop and they're in the van talking, and a Spectre volunteers to go into the building and check it out because he looks like a hipster. And you find out he's nabbed a Legion jacket from their last mission. So he's got a hoodie on with the Legion jacket. He looks like he's ready to go to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And so he heads in without his hood on.
And everybody else is in full costume and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So
just chilling out.
Yeah, he looks like he's in street clothes. His general look.
That's a lot of clothing for New Orleans.
Yeah, it's warm down there.
Yeah, usually.
Usually.
And
It
then
must
he
be
gets
wintertime.
he gives a report from the coffee shop, and he's just making fun of everybody basically. And he's making fun of the team too, because they all have earpieces. And so, and for some reason, Caliber wasn't paying attention despite all of his weapons and gear.
Yeah.
So he didn't know. And then we get some reporting back from the coffee shop. There's like some girl live streaming and a couple having coffee, shooting the breeze there. And then he finds, I don't even know, this guy, he doesn't look like he belongs in the coffee shop. He's got like highlighted blondish hair and a blonde beard and a tie. He looks like he's trying to fake his way into a coffee shop.
I mean, he could be, I don't know, maybe not a hip coffee shop, but a regular coffee shop.
It's like if David Hasselhoff had a beard.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anyway, he doesn't belong there because he's a cop. So you find that on the next page, and it gets revealed really quickly because both of them are out of place.
Yeah.
So they're chatting it up, and you got Caliber's like telling Specter to tell him he's a PI, which is kind of hilarious because he is like the furthest thing from it.
Yeah.
So they're kind of bantering. And anyway, the cop just randomly volunteers this information that there's a door in the shop that they could go to. And so I thought this was hilarious because I feel like this is what happens every time I play D&D. There's like an NPC.
Yeah.
And that NPC just talks to you for a minute and then just volunteers there's a place to go in the shop, which I was like, that's fun. Okay.
And then they disappear and they offer you no other help.
Right. And conveniently, they're just like a cop in the coffee shop for no reason. Just conveniently, they have this convenient piece of information.
He's a person too. He likes coffee.
Well, they head down and he goes to this employees only thing and he melts the lock off the door. So we head down and then all of a sudden there's a cat with a hat, not the cat in a hat,
just a cat with a hat
following him. And now Boulder starts taking the direction away and make sure, to wait. He's like, don't engage, wait, hang on, don't do anything stupid. Next page, wait until we get there. Clearly telling Specter, like, don't. No.
But he's like, there's guys here. I got this. I'm good.
No. And of course, he puts his mask on and his hood because that's his costume. So, yeah. So basically, Specter's costume is everybody's black mask you wear at the grocery store now.
Yeah.
And a hoodie. Yeah. So he's basically everyone from the Pacific Northwest.
Oh my gosh. This is like literally my look yesterday when I was at the store.
It's pretty much my look all day. Yeah. It's until now when my room gets really hot here in the new house and the new digs. By the way, broadcasting from a new digs here in the new office, which is fantastic. So, well, it's one of them, and it's one of them freaks because that's what bad guys always say.
Yeah, and he's got purple hands,
and he throws a fireball at them.
Fireball.
He must have rolled a 1.
Oh man,
because that fireball comes straight by the villains, and they shoot him.
Oh, shot.
Ugh. Yeah. I mean, that looks like me rolling but yeah, it's like one of my rolls in the game. It's fireball. Yeah.
Yeah. Fireball miss.
Except I probably would have like fried the entire party. So that would have been,
Fireball to the ceiling. Nothing but bats, and the bats have flown down, but they're giant vampire bats, and everything
dies.
It dies.
And the 6 giant spiders come down too.
No.
Just to make me happy. Well, anyway, we are shots fired.
Boulder's on the scene.
Yeah. Boulder's headed in. Caliber's headed in.
Caliber's gun drawn.
Specter is down. And then there's Boulder. And we see Boulder gets his own little screen with the most exaggerated punch ever, which is fantastic.
Pow! Yeah.
And Caliber's like, good call on the Kevlar vest. Okay, yep. Of course he's wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
So, because we can't have a character die this soon. I mean,
no.
You can't die as a level 1, right?
No, you could.
You could, but that's a rough. I mean, that's a rough DM. If off as an level 1.
I will tell you. I played a game one time down with the Longview folks, and boy oh boy, this dude he got killed in the first in the first encounter, and
Nice.
it was like, well, do you want to roll up a new character? And then he just grabbed his stuff and left.
Always a great way to keep the party together.
Yep, he just left. It was sad because he was my ride back to Vancouver.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Well, good news. Just like your ride back to Vancouver, Boulder here says he had to come save his tail.
Oh, yeah. See, it's always a good thing to have a backup.
Well, then we flip the page and we get them going into, looks like a warehouse.
Yeah.
Got some pallets, got some shelving.
Yeah.
And
see, here's where, okay, he's like, Caliber's like, he's still alive. I watched him crawl away, unless he bleeds out. And I'm looking, and I see no blood on the floor.
Uh-oh. Well, he crawled out of the other room. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're done with that room. Like, in any good adventure, when you're done with a room, you don't go back and search it again.
I know. Well, I was boring. Like, where's the blood?
Well, they're here, and they're bantering again about the mission, so... Yeah. Caliber's like, we got to shut this place down because we're here. And they have a little argument. Specter's like, we're supposed to find evidence.
Oh.
And Boulder's like, I doubt it. We should table the debate until we deal with the current situation. I feel like I've heard these discussions before.
Yeah.
So now we got some more random hoods.
Random hoods just hanging up in the stairwell.
Yeah, but they got a baseball bat, nothing in a gun. Yeah. Okay, and Boulder takes point, and now this is fun. Guys, I got a question for you. Do you know how to tell when I make the headlines? And the folks, the hoods start freaking out, right? The boss is going to kill us. Oh no, what do we do?
Oh.
And then he lowers his sunglasses, says, because when my name is in the title, it's always Boulder. And of course, this is a podcast, so you can't see that it's Boulder in all capital letters. And he uses his move, the Righteous Fury, in bold, and he punches the guy in bold, and that knocks him. It's like a triple punch.
Yeah.
And so, his symbolism, like he announces his move, and then he's like body performs it, which is fantastic.
It's like very anime.
Yes. It is like very anime, but I was like, this is fantastic. And then now for some reason, I don't know why he wasn't doing this before, but Specter's throwing glowing knives at people.
Because, Boulder, I think they will like my imbued blade.
Yep. So now we're announcing our spells, which is cool. Yeah. And Caliber is now annoyed. Seriously, you guys you're shouting. You make us sound like anime protagonists. So he's right on it with you. Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to shoot these dudes.
They pretty much wipe these guys out pretty quickly. It's not much of a fight. And we get to the next page. And Caliber's still making fun of them for sounding all anime. And then he says, I could use a fireball. So, sounds like every D&D game, right? To clear the room. And Boulder says, especially after a late night taco run. So they make fun of his spells. This is fun. I feel like I've lived this. Yeah. So now they go in and they're going to take down the big baddie. They knock a hole through the wall. They go in. We've got some grenades.
Oh.
We blow some folks up. But this guy, they found the giant spiders.
Oh, man.
Or the super bat, vampiric bats, because Caliber hits this guy and nothing happens. Then he stabs this guy and nothing happens. And this guy starts beating the living shit out of Caliber.
Yeah, I mean, Caliber's just getting worked over he's getting worked over just so bad because his faceplate comes off, his goggles break. I mean, he's a bloody pulp.
So here comes Boulder, and he says, "Why aren't you leaving? We aren't leaving without you. We are taking him out because Caliber's sensed the threat somehow. Like this guy is a threat, and he's telling everybody to leave.
He's like, get out."
And Boulder's like, "We are leaving. We're taking him out. His enemies grow stronger. Boulder, don't do it. He's not normal. Leave me. I grow." And so Boulder is Boulder, right? Because he grows Boulder because that's his name. And then he gets the living crap kicked out of him.
Yeah, I mean...
And here comes level 1 Specter.
And he's
it goes
throwing
about
spells.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And goes about as well. So what happened to her tanks are down and you have a spellcaster left. You're done. Yeah. So there we go. Okay. And everybody's on the floor. If only Reach had been here.
Yeah.
Where was Reach? Yep.
I don't know.
And and then we get a cat.
The cat.
And he says, "Count your blessings for I have ride. Impeccable timing as you almost died. I offer a pact, an oath of sorts. I'd like you to join you and your cohorts. In return, just 2 things I ask. The finest cigars and a rum in a flask. So let's agree, a powerful team we will be. Specter and me, the great Baron Samedi." And we've got a kitty cat who likes to drink.
Yeah.
And he rhymes every time he's talking.
Well,
and so Baron Samedi did something because he took the other dude out because the fight's over and we just have Baron Samedi saving the day. Because the next page, we get to recovery and we find out that there's Richter and a doctor who is Technetic Chief of Medicine, Wendy Chatfield, MD. And they gave a serum to the other guys. But for some reason, the serum does not work on Caliber. So,
man, because he's a normal human.
And so we find out that the recovery is going well, but for the other two, he tells Wendy to do whatever it takes to keep Caliber alive. And that is the end of the issue.
No, what will happen next?
I don't know, but we get a nice message from Christopher Michael, the owner creator, who is also the co-writer and the artist for this awesome book.
Oh, wow.
And gives a nice afterword. So, but I will say he does mention the idea behind it. But each game begins with a question of how the world reacts to X situation. He's talking about role playing, so he's trying to world build here. Yeah. Of course, there's a nod to D&D, obviously calling the book Crit, and there's lots of nods to that. So he's putting everybody together, like they're going on a mission of sorts or going on an adventure. But he puts them starting a new job together as superheroes, and he moves the game forward. So in comic book sense, and that's kind of the spirit of the book. And what'd you think, Greg?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fast paced. It moved. It gave us a lot of ground, I guess, to understand who these. It built up that like Christopher Michael was saying at the end here. It started with the world building, gave us a little bit of idea of who these characters are and what their purpose is, and that way we kind of knew moving forward what they're trying to do, so we can kind of understand that. Yeah. And I enjoyed that aspect of it. As far, for the story and everything like that, as we were talking prior to the show and recording, we talked a little bit about the art and stuff like that, and discussing about what it looked like. And I think we're both in agreement that it definitely is a digital format. It looks like a digital format. It feels like that to me. It's hard to say it's not, but it pops on how I was reading it on the computer. It comes across really vibrant and nice. So that's really nice. And there's a lot of dynamic coloring and other things like that. So it looks...
Yeah. I mean, there are certain parts of the art I really, really like. And there are certain parts of the art that sort of reminded me of the generic backgrounds you get in like Adobe educational software. Okay. And so the art grew on me, but there were a couple of the backgrounds, like I think like the warehouse background, right? It sort of, it seemed, maybe it's supposed to be generic, but it seemed really generic. It's like, here's some shelves, here's a pile of pallets sitting here randomly. And so there was a couple of things, that building too, we talked about earlier. Yeah. Just seemed really weird to me. There were some elements of it that seemed, I don't know, I guess I'm not an artist, right? I'm a historian and writer. So, but some of it felt a little off kilter. That doesn't mean I didn't like it overall. But this is Funny Book Forensics, so we're going to analyze it a little bit. And I think there were a couple things that took me out of the story a little bit.
I can see where your point is valid in some of the art choices that the team used to develop the book itself, but I think also in the way that they developed the book for their storytelling technique, it being based in a world of D&D or gameplay. When you go and you're playing a game, I think where it took us out for a minute. I think if you put yourself back in the reference point of it being built on a gameplay type situation, it can definitely, you can put yourself back into it just by saying, oh, you're going to a building. What does the building look like? It looks like this. Okay, I'm visualizing this building. It looks like this. You're in a warehouse. What does the warehouse have? And then the warehouse has these things.
Right.
And
so you get sort of a generic room because that's what you imagine when you're playing, right?
Yeah. So for
fair.
as much as the backgrounds might have taken you out as a game player, you're also used to, if you look at it from that point of view, you're used to that kind of thought process. You don't put a lot into sometimes the background elements when you're playing a game because you're more focused on what moves the story forward, and the background doesn't necessarily move the story forward. Sometimes it's dialogue, sometimes it's the character, sometimes it's the action that's taking place.
And I definitely prefer this to like a 2-page spread of random background with fighting.
Yeah. And so I definitely like those choices. There were some choices with talking heads and other things like that, which I understand. Sometimes it's what you do to move the dialogue and stuff like that. But I think there was a couple like 4-panel throw ups in here that in the book a couple times that were just the talking heads of the characters themselves. Yeah. But again, too, like I looked at it like, okay, if I'm playing a game with my friends and we're looking around the room and I'm looking at player A, B, C, and D, that's all I see, right? So, yeah. Or even if I'm playing online and I'm using like a video chat or something like that, and we're not looking at anything, obviously, and you're just seeing heads. So that is, I guess, the standard.
Yeah, and honestly, the only thing, with those small criticisms aside, I think the only thing that really bugs me, I think is really hard to read Baron Samedi's text.
Oh, because the text choice.
I've read it, yeah, and I've read ahead a little bit, and I found that purple text to be really difficult to read on the page.
It is definitely like that.
And I'm on a 10-inch tablet, so it's not like I'm on a small device.
Well, see, I'm fortunate. I'm looking at it on I'd say like a 27-inch monitor.
You're on a big monitor. I could look at it on my big monitor too. And these are the other part of it though. These are high quality PDFs you get with this, so they're very high quality. They're very nice. It takes not a minute, but it takes a second for my tablet to load each page. They're that high quality. So that was nice.
I tried to do it on my phone earlier, and I realized that was the biggest mistake that I could make, because when I looked at it on my phone, it was like, I was like, there's too much to see that I'm going to miss out on. So I need to put it on something that I will enjoy this on and be able to get what they're trying to give us.
And I read a lot of comics here on this tablet. So
yeah, I think
a lot of people do.
I do too. And that's like, I mean, like as someone who really went, I was trying to be a holdout for the longest time, but as you back Kickstarters and you get PDF versions of things, and the PDF comes sooner than the physical copy, and you just really want to read the book, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to open up the tablet and download it to the tablet and read it at night or whenever I get a moment. It's over the last couple of years, I've kind of really given in as to just reading the physical copy of something. So
I will admit though that the tablet hitting me on the nose when I fall asleep does hurt more than the comic.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no. Yeah, or when you drop the tablet in the toilet and you're like, oh no. I mean, at least
I've not done that with a tablet.
I joke, I kid. I've only done it once. Maybe not.
I do want to give some credit to the creative team. So we've got illustrations by Christopher Michael, who also owns the comic and created the idea. Got story by Christopher Michael, Brad Haynes, Terreyl Wilkins, Austin Ferguson, and Obie Dancey. lettered by Terreyl Wilkins, colors by Drew Collins and Rachel Waifu. Sorry, it's either Rachel or Michale, and sorry if I missed the last name there. Cover by B. Navarro, and editors Brad Haynes and Terreyl Wilkins. So big team here, but I think they put a lot into it, and it was a lot of fun.
Definitely, I will say, I mean, as someone who writes and edits and stuff like that, there were a couple moment, like, I'm going to say misses, but it happens when you're working on a big project.
Yep.
On editing, lettering, things slip and slide. I'm no stranger to it myself on my projects. So the count of like 2 or 3 that I caught is definitely, like, for a group working on such a big project, and also it being like this is a project by people who love storytelling comics and putting it all together in this sense. So this is not like, you're not getting like paid DC editors that their job is to stay up till, like, the wee hours in the morning and make sure everything is 100% perfect before it goes to press.
You're so nice, Greg. Well, I would just say, when I was reading through, I did catch some editorial errors, and honestly, you're being super nice. And but I'm not going to lie. If I Kickstarter something, I expect it to be in finished condition.
I understand. I mean, the reason I'm so nice is because as I said, I'm no stranger to these things, and it kills me every time a book that I've done goes out that has one thing that slips, and then all of a sudden there's like the 30 messages that follow. So, yep. I'm sure,
including
I'm not
for me.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. You are, and you usually are like 29 of those messages.
Yeah.
Did you fix it yet?
Fix it yet?
No,
well,
we can't fix it. It's already done.
Yeah. I never ask you if you can fix it, but I message you on the side. I don't message it out to the world, right?
No, I know.
That's the major difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because I've been an editor, and it's it's rough too when you are an editor and you miss something. I think the editors take it hardest, honestly. It's
for sure.
Yeah, because I know on your team who would take it the hardest. And so...
Me?
No.
Oh. Well, no.
David would take it the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your editor, David Mayer, would...
Yeah.
At least for this project. I know he's not your editor in every project, but for Starlight, the Starlight project, David's the editor. And I know he would take it the hardest if he missed something, because I know him.
I know. Since he's been... He is like... He's doing the crazy weird hours to make sure everything's perfect after taking classes from those same DC editors that are like, this is, if you want to do this, you got to be this, and you got to put the hours in. And he's like, oh, okay. So
I do think the fun thing, we do get a preview for issue 2 here, and it is a team project. So Christopher Michael written by, but now we have cover by a different cover, Mo Liebison, and colors by Cristiano Cruz. So I do like the fact that they're getting these things out quick.
Yeah.
They're working as a team on it, and Christopher Michael is really owning this and getting some things out. So I can't wait to dig into a couple more issues of this.
Yeah. And this is a very dynamic cover too. Like, I mean, the action on this, there's a lot going on. It makes you really want to, like, when do I get to read this next one? And
I thought when I saw this cover?
What's that?
US 1.
Yeah, baby. That's what I was thinking too.
High road trekking.
Yeah. It has that feel. It also has the feel of Fast and the Furious. Oh, yeah.
Well, that got one of us excited.
It's like my favorite film franchise. No lies. I mean, one of my favorite film franchises next to Critters.
Okay. At least I've got Greg back now, so that's good. And Gremlins.
What?
Like, Critters or Gremlins, Greg?
Well, I mean, they're very similar, but I mean, the Critters movie franchise has more movies in it than Gremlins. Gremlins only has 2 movies. Yeah. Critters has like,
and that's good because 8. They should have stopped after 1.
No, Gremlins 2 is fantastic. You get so many more Gremlins in it, and they're in New York.
Well, anyway, we'll agree to disagree there.
Okay.
And we are on to the end of this episode, I think.
Oh, this is a treat. I can't wait till issue number 2.
Yeah, I'm anxious. Well, I'm not so anxious because I've read them, but I'm anxious to talk about it
Oh, yeah.
because that's what we do. We dissect comic books.
At Funny Book Forensics.
There we go. Best outro ever.
The best around.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.